Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Greetings, family, and welcome back to Raising the Vibe. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. What in the world is going on in Kenya? Yesterday, I saw a YouTube video of smoke and people yelling in the streets, and I couldn't at first figure out what was going on until the protesters started saying that Ruto must go. And then I realized that this was happening in Kenya because I recently did a video questioning whether Ruto is in fact a puppet of the West. But take a look at this TikTok video. So of course it comes as no surprise that I immediately began doing some research trying to figure out what is happening. And what I learned is that Kenyans are rejecting the 2024 finance bill that has been proposed by the Kenyan government. Apparently, they have a finance bill every year, and this year, the Kenyan people are not on board with the finance bill that's being proposed because it includes so many taxes, like a 16% tax on bread, 2.5% tax on motor vehicles. They're purporting to tax vegetable oils, sanitary napkins, diapers, and all kinds of things. And Kenyans have a very high cost of living already, and they're struggling under that high cost of living. And they feel that these additional taxes will make items simply unaffordable for them. And one of the Kenyan social media content creators I follow actually said that Kenya is in the midst of a revolution and asked us to pray for Kenya.
I'm sure by now you've heard that Kenya is literally in a revolution.
Before the protests started, Kenyans went onto social media to express their dissatisfaction with this year's finance bill, and they actually put online the contact information for the MPs, which are the members of parliament over there, and urged people to ring them up and let them know that they didn't want that bill and to reject that bill. And apparently, people just started calling all of the MPs back to back to back to back, urging them to reject the bill.
A majority of members of parliament were today forced to switch off their phones to avoid thousands of phone calls from Kenyans after their personal numbers were leaked online.
Now, the Kenyan government is claiming that all of these austere measures and high taxes are necessary because Kenyans have to live within their means. However, Dr. Mumbi, the Kenyan social media content creator, said that it is known throughout the country of Kenya that the MPs and those close to Ruto are going wild with the lavish expenditures, buying Range Rovers and Mercedes Benzes, buying plots of land, wearing Rolexes, and just carrying on with a lavish lifestyle while trying to impose these taxes on the everyday citizen in Kenya, and they are not having it.
Members of parliament and those close to the president are buying Mercedes, they're buying Range Rovers, they're acquiring land left, right, and center. And it's like wearing watches like Rolexes and all those watches.
The Kenyans began protesting, and for all intents and purposes, it was a peaceful protest. They said a lot of the young folks, the Gen Zers, and the middle class, two groups that normally don't protest, were actually out there involved in this particular protest. But even though the protesters were peaceful, apparently they were met with severe force by the Kenyan police, who used water cannons and tear gas and arrested upwards of almost 300 people at these protests. But the crazy thing about that is that Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution apparently allows Kenyan citizens rights of assembly, demonstration, picketing, and petition. So the fact that the Kenyan police exerted so much pressure and arrested so many people at the protest is really next level. President Ruto had a meeting with members of parliament and they withdrew or removed a lot of the controversial taxes from the 2024 finance bill, including the tax on bread and motor vehicles and some of the other really unpopular ones, although some MPs were concerned that other taxes may have been slid in even as those well-publicized ones were removed. And after they removed those taxes, they went ahead and passed the finance bill, which sparked even more protests because the Kenyan citizens are saying, we didn't ask you to make some amendments to that bill. We want the bill rejected. As a matter of fact, they want a wholesale reconsideration of the financial policies in Kenya because the prices are so high that it's difficult for everyday citizens in the country. There's another important piece to this puzzle. Dr. Mumby said that Kenyans noticed that when the Kenyan government was debating on the 2024 finance bill, certain American congressmen were present as well, overseeing the discussion, it appeared, which really was a problem for Kenyans.
To make things worse, family, during the debate of the finance bill, there was we noticed a suspicious group where the U.S. congressmen came in, and a lot of them were Mzungu family. I think almost all of them. They came in to witness or oversight our members of parliament as they discussed Kenya's bill.
And also the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is in favor of the initial 2024 finance bill. And I think that's infuriating Kenyans even more. Either way, there is a lot going on in Kenya right now, and we need to keep our eye on that. If you weren't already aware of this situation in Kenya, definitely look it up and inform yourself. And of course, as always, if I learn of additional developments that will warrant an update, I'll definitely do another video on this. The one thing I will say, bringing it back to America where I live, is that it's time for us to get up and get active too. I'm not a big fan of protesting. We've just protested left and right, and I'm all protested out. But we need to figure out a way to stop these people over here from adulterating our food, our water, and our air, which are three basic elements that humans rely on for survival. Of course, this isn't a video about America, but we see disruptions all over the globe. We've seen them in European countries as a result of the draconian measures against farmers. We're seeing this in Kenya, and we see other things as well. And the question is, when will the American people rise up and take a stand against what's happening here? But this is about Kenya. And again, if I see anything warranting an update, I certainly will give one. And until the next video, family, peace and love and light. I'll see you next time.
Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.